2024. Can I get a roll call?
Rebecca?
Here.
Lisa?
Here.
Herb's absent with notice. Kim?
Here.
Hillary?
Here.
Jeff, yes. Carly?
Here.
Jan?
Jan, yeah, here.
Coy?
Good, Jane.
Here. All right, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have our students because they are done with school. So next up is the superintendent report.
Good evening. We have a very, very full room tonight, and it feels great. Lots of awesome energy in the room. First, I'd like to introduce some new staff to the school district that will be working with us from the 24-25 school year and beyond. And so to begin that, I'd like to invite Principal Colleen Ransford, if she could please introduce our new Dean of Students at Oakwood Elementary. We would appreciate it.
So welcome, this is Nicole Fauti. We are very, very excited to have Nicole join us. She's coming to us from Huron Valley Schools. She's been an educator for over 20 years, the most recent 14 years in Huron Valley Schools, in a variety of roles, and I can have her speak to that a little bit. Very strong special ed background, and most recently a teacher consultant, where she's been part of leading 8 buildings around the district for a teacher leadership cohort.
I don't know what you want to know. Welcome to, I don't know if you want to ask questions or anything, but I'm excited to be a Blackhawk. I'm excited for this new opportunity and very excited for this new role. And just ready for the summer kind of to be over because I'm excited to start.
Wonderful things we've even heard about her past, interviews and everything. A lot of connections, staff who knows, and their children, her children, and so forth. So very excited.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. And then Mrs. Hubble, if you wouldn't mind.
He already has Blackhawk here too. I'm so excited.
I am excited. Oh, they all do. I'm excited to introduce Mr. Chad Chappell, who will be joining us as the dean at Harvey Swanson. So he's got a really unique background. He went to college for business and quickly realized his passion was for students. So he was the director at Camp Tamarack for many, many years. And then spent the last,
Almost 10.
at the Oakland Technical Campus as the assistant principal there. I'm actually working under Dave Wyatt, who used to be a Brandon employee. So we're super excited to kind of welcome into our elementary world. It just felt right. He brings a sense of calm and peace, and the team was so excited. So we're really, really excited to have him as part of our Harvey Swanson team.
It was very nice to meet all of you guys and see everybody here. I am truly honored, humbled, and very excited to take on this role as a dean at Harvey Swanson. It feels great. I didn't start my whole career, but I spent a good amount of time in Ortonville. And so it feels so nice to be home back in Ortonville. I'm so looking forward to being reacquainted with the community, getting involved with everybody that is here, being active, taking care of all the students that we have at the elementary building and beyond. I look forward to many years of being a part of the district and helping to grow students. I have kind of an interesting background, as Jessica mentioned. I started as a camp director, but I was there developing curriculum and doing all kinds of things camp related, had all kinds of programs that went in throughout schools throughout Oakland County and into Detroit. But while I was there, that's where I met my beautiful wife, Amanda. With Brandon here. We have our 3 lovely kids that are with us. I have one going into 8th grade, I have one going into 4th grade, and I have a little one that's starting school. So we are heavily ingrained into the school districts and the systems, and I can't wait to be a part of everything that we do, making sure that all the students are safe and have a wonderful place to learn and grow. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
for the next one. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nicole and your family. Nicole has 8 children. She said, I found these 2 at the house, so these are the ones. So many of them are grown.
Yes.
But yeah, so lovely. And Chad, thank you. And the cheer squad over there. We feel it. We feel it. But we do have one other special person to introduce to you this evening, and her name is Alexis Wheat. She's looking beautiful there in her green dress. And I love that dress. And so we're really fortunate to have Alexis join us here in Brandon. She has spent her time working with the Department of Defense when she lived in Ohio. So she's got quite a few years working in that capacity. And then she transitioned back here to Michigan, where she worked in Southfield, where she graduated high school. And so she worked at Southfield Art and Technology High School for a couple of years, and she was looking for something new and different, and we feel so fortunate that we were able to gobble her up and have her come here and join us here in Brandon. You can already tell she gives you a special vibe just by looking at her. And we are just tickled pink to have her join our team here in Brandon. So I hope you don't mind if you're welcome to say a few words if you'd like.
Little social anxiety, but yes, as she stated before, I have an extensive background in the Department of Defense, Finance and Accounting Services, where I met my fiance, who now works for the VA, and my son's back there. After that, I came back home during the pandemic, which is a story I've shared with many. Not having the social interaction really got to me. We came to Michigan to visit my friends. He fell in love with them. I fell in love with them all over again. And so for the sake of my mental health, we moved back home. And since then, I've been thriving. It's the best move I've ever made. I would like to thank everyone who was on the panel, interviewing me. This is very special. I know I have huge shoes to fill. But I'm excited to be a Black Hawk as well, and to be a part of this amazing organization and to support the Board of Education and Superintendent Charlie Stone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to everybody that came and joined us here this evening for those introductions. At this time, I'd like to pass the baton to our elementary literacy team. So I'd like to introduce Annie Muller. You guys have seen her before. We love Annie.
Thank you. All right, well, yes, I'm Annie Muller. I'm the elementary literacy leader for Brandon School District. And I'm so excited to share just a glimpse into some of the work that we've done this year with our elementary team in the world of literacy.
Turn down on the side, Annie.
Now it is, thank you.
Sorry, you're good.
Okay. All right, so this evening we're going to talk a little bit about our professional development plan and how we got that funding. We're going to introduce you to our staff developers, share a glimpse of our timeline and highlights from our PD sessions, share a couple pieces of staff feedback. You'll get a chance to see our work in action, a quick video. We'll share our next steps, and then you'll get to see a little bit of our data, which is exciting to see how it transfers into student growth. All right, so based on requests from staff for being supported in their curriculum, we've made some big strides the last few years to become more consistent across our elementary with our curriculum and instruction. They asked if they could have some more support, so we brought in staff developers from Mossflower, the Reading and Writing Project. We were able to fund that through a grant from Leo called the Innovation Grant. We were able to do 10 full days of staff development for our elementary staff. We had 5 days for our JK through 2 staff, 5 days for our 3-5 staff, and we were able to include general education teachers, admin and district leaders, and then our special education and reading interventionists were invited as well, so all educators could be on the same page with what we were doing in the world of literacy. These are our staff developers. They came from New York, and visited us for 10 days this year. Elise Bader was our K2 staff developer, and Mandy Ehrlich was our 3-5 staff developer. The way that we structured this, we had all of our K2 staff development take place at Harvey Swanson. So on the days that Elise came into town, our Oakwood teachers would drive over and join our Harvey teachers so we could do grade level teaming. And then for our 3-5 work, we did that at Oakwood. And again, our Harvey teachers just drove over to Oakwood and were able to share this time with their teams. We covered a range of topics, and these dates sprawled across the year, so it wasn't just a one and done. Staff were able to learn something, apply it in their classroom, get some feedback, and then discuss and ask questions the next time the staff developer came into town. We also used feedback from staff to kind of design what the next session would look like so that our development was intentional and timely. So we did this as a cycle. So we would plan with our staff developers and say, this is what our students and staff need. After we get a chance to engage with staff, they would provide us with feedback, and that would help us to decide what would be our next steps for our next session. Here are some pictures of what it looked like. So this is our JK through 2 staff. We would often start our session with like a roundtable discussion so that all the members of the grade level team would get a chance to kind of weigh in, talk about what was going well, ask some questions, pick our staff developers' brains. We then would do some work inside the classrooms. We had host classrooms for every grade level. The staff developer would do some modeling. Our teachers would get a chance to try that work with small groups of students, sometimes in teams. And this is what it looked like with our 3-5 staff, the same setup where we'd have roundtable discussion. Our admin would join when they were available, which was so nice because we were all on the same page. And we had just lots of wonderful discussions and a lot of collaboration and cohesion happening across grade levels and across buildings. These are just some of the pieces of feedback. We had overwhelmingly positive feedback from our staff. A couple of pieces I just wanted to pick out. We had one staff member who said they would love to see this work extended K-12, being able to work and collaborate across grade levels, across buildings, and really do some teaming they thought was very powerful. I loved that it made teachers feel like it wasn't as overwhelming. They had kind of this guide on the side that was able to answer their questions. And just again, that collaboration piece where they were able to meet with not just the teams in their building, but across the district and in the other building as well to get new ideas. All right, so this is my most excited part. This is a quick 2-minute video that shows the last day of our K2 staff development, so you can just see what it looks like. Yes, thank you, Maria. video for some reason I just want to click next. Thank you. All right, so that's what this year looked like. We're excited to say we're extending this work over the next 2 years. We were able to secure an additional fund from 35J, which was given to us by MDE. So the next 2 years, we're gonna really dig into the reading rope, which has all of the components of skilled reading. So the way that we have it structured, we're gonna have our 3-5 teachers really dig into the language comprehension piece, and our K2 staff will start with word recognition components, and then the following year we'll flip-flop. The focus won't be only on that, that's just what our professional development sessions will start on. So even though we know it takes all of this to create a skilled reader, that'll be what our sessions will focus on. And then here's a little bit of growth to show you the impact of our work this year. So if we take a look at the NWEA growth in reading from last year, at Harvey Swanson, we were in the 49th percentile in reading, and this year we jumped up to the 51st. So we see a nice little jump there, but our Oakwood growth, we went from the 33rd last year to 49th this year. So it just shows that we're putting time and effort into our students, and it's really making a difference. Any questions?
Thank you, that was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for really spearheaded this work for the school district, so a lot of appreciation goes towards Annie and her focus and tenacity, making sure that we're making progress, and you are very appreciated. Thank you.
It's all about the students, and our teachers deserve all this wonderful work, so I'm very excited to continue it. So thank you.
Okay, Brian, you're up.
Good evening. Quick update, construction update on the bond projects that are going on. I told you we finished up the Oakwood playground installation. We have a little paperwork things, a couple things to do, but I wanted to bring some pictures of the new equipment in case you haven't seen it. There's 2 of the units in the back. You see the unit on the picture on the right, there's a unit in blue. That's an existing piece of equipment that we stayed. There was a couple pieces we left in place because the kids enjoyed them, so we didn't get rid of them. We left them in place and worked around them. And then there's a couple new pieces here. And a large play structure that replaced the old one. If you remember our meetings a long time ago, there was pieces we had to take off of that unit to make it safe for the kids. So we scrapped the whole thing and brought a brand new unit there with slides and activities and on that. So that's just some pictures of Oakwood's playground. Moving on to the high school, the pool roof is 100% complete now. We're waiting on the manufacturer of the roof to come in and certify the installation to validate the warranty. Interior, the roof deck and the walls are being painted. That says completion by 8/1. That should actually say July 1. So here's some pictures inside. So there's the visqueen that was covering the actual water in the pool deck area. And then here's some pictures of the new paint going on the ceiling. You see it's a lot brighter than it was. You kind of see the roof on the upper right picture there, kind of dark and dingy. And now it's going to be bright white with the walls being painted as well. So Meg's actually still in there today working. So the plan is to have everything painted by the end of June, and then they'll take all the visqueen down, put the ductwork up, and then the new lighting, and then they'll start to commission the unit. So the mechanical, the new dehumidifying unit's in place behind the big, large wall there. If you get a chance, go peek behind there. It's the size of a school bus. It's unbelievable. So that's installed. Again, the exterior ductwork is installed. You see that kind of popping up behind the roof and going into the sidewall. And then again, once the painting's done, they'll put the interior ductwork up, the interior lights, and then they'll start to commission the unit and fire it up and get air moving inside. So currently they're on track to finish by the end of July, and it'll be all wrapped up and out of the pool. The swimming equipment, the timing system and the scoreboard, they're telling us also a July delivery. So we're hope that comes through. That's been ordered for over a year now, so we're waiting on that stuff to come in. But they are telling us a July delivery, so we should have everything all wrapped up by end of July, and then the pool turned over back in use. Next projects are starting this week will be the parking lots at Harvey Swanson and then Goodman Drive. They're mobilizing now. They should be starting to remove asphalt before the end of this week is done. And then Obviously, it'll take them a couple of days to do that, but they're looking basically with the schedule that we have right now is completing both of the projects by the end of July. So they're on a good track right now. Middle school, it's our other project. They've started moving the furniture out of the rooms. They'll start their demolition. They're started this week. It'll take them the rest of June to remove all the flooring in the hallways and the classrooms. And then starting 1st of July, they'll start to put down the new product. New product is in. The contractor has all the material in his warehouse. So it was a big thing. We were just talking about that. It's a big hurdle to make sure we got all this stuff. So we're on target there, and then they'll take all of July and the first part of August to put the new material down, because almost every classroom is getting touched, not all the science rooms, but then all the hallways are getting redone. So there's a lot of work to be done inside the building, but we're shooting for around the week of August 18th to be done, furniture moved back in, so we'll be ready for start of school. That's pretty much all I've got. So a little bit less hectic than last summer. But any questions that I can answer for anybody?
Thank you, Brian, for coming out again. Thank you. Public comments and questions on agenda business. I'm in training. I appreciate you guys. One on John's business? Okay. Okay.
It really is. It truly is. It sets the whole tone.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So next is approval of consent agenda.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes. Rebecca?
Yes. All right, that's it. Next on the list is information discussion items. We don't have a board report this week, I don't think. And then next would be finance report with Jan.
Hello. Tonight I am going to be going over our annual public budget hearing that includes the final budget for this current year and our proposed budget for next year. And also this hearing includes the truth and taxation hearing, which is the levy that the district levies. So we will start with our, these on. Whoops. Okay. The truth and taxation hearing, these are the subtopics, and then the general fund, we're going to talk about the student activity fund, our IPA energy bond debt fund, the food service fund, and the child care fund. And they've only got about 12 slides, so not too bad. Our property tax levy, non-homestead, we levy 17.8706 mils. The property values increased this year, 6.5%. 177 million. Our debt levy is on all property, and that is staying the same at 12.16 mils. That's been the same for the last several years. The taxable value on all property in our municipalities, we increased 7.73%. This is our breakdown. We have our operating levy is ongoing. It expires actually this year, but we got it renewed last year, so we have like 10 years on that one. And then the next 5 items are the levies that are outstanding. So you can see if we go all the way to the right, the 2016 refunding, will expire at the end of this year. And then the next one, the 2018 refunding, will expire in 2025. Then we have our 2019 refunding, the 2021 refunding, and then our new voted bond, the 2022 bond. So it just breaks down the individual levies that equal the 12.16 mils. That is our tax levy. Some assumptions that we worked on, and Superintendent Stone and myself started this one back in November, and it's been an ongoing process, and we're trying to keep everything as up to date as possible. The state still hasn't settled their budget, but right now we're hoping, we think we're going to get a $241 per student increase, which you probably remember the last 2 years we've had well over a $400 increase. So at 241, that's quite a bit of a reduction for us. Enrollment decline of about 50 students. That's looking to be fairly close. Talked to Jen Poston, our student enrollment person, and she thinks that'll be very close. PA-18, which is special education money that we get from the county, we're getting an increase this year. That's good, $75,000. Our interest earnings, I can plug that in, $300,000. And that's back in 2 or 3 years ago, we had $7,000. So the interest rates that we're all paying, which is a bad thing, on the flip side, we are earning a lot more in interest revenue in both the general fund and the bond fund actually as well. Next year, we plan to transfer $75,000 from our food service fund, which does very well. And the federal ESSER budget that we've been talking about for several years is zero next year. We finally have reached the end of that, and we will spend almost every dime of that, if not every dime of that. We're going to make sure that we give nothing back, so that's good news. Our building maintenance, I put this in there just because it's a big number, and our building maintenance and with our utilities is a little over $2.7 million. Our property liability insurance is $252,000. Actually, I'm meeting with them this week, and that may go up. We've budgeted next year for personnel increases of $475,000. Again, we have been doing this for several years now. We just build that into the budget as part of the process. We reduced, in an effort to right-size the classrooms in the district, we're looking at about $465,000 in teacher decreases. And again, this is not going to increase class sizes at all. It just reflects our enrollment. Some additional assumptions I thought were noteworthy. Our IPA energy bond payments next year, $418,136. Our transportation is going up $70,000. Our ESSER costs to the general fund. So what that is we've had all these costs sitting in ESSER, and some of them we just couldn't put in another grant. So the general fund is going to pick up $309,000. And then our building administrative support, which is a really great thing, we made that investment of about $375,000 next year. So we are investing as well as reducing. Just to analyze the bottom line here, our projected operating surplus before any transfers last year was $151,000. This year we're projecting $75,000. Next year, I'm sorry, if we look at our fund balance, which is the number that everybody's interested in, what is our percentage, our fund balance percentage? 22-23 was 13.76%. This current year, we're projecting 14.37%. And we continue to have an assigned fund balance of $2 million. The board has not touched that, and I think it was about 10 years ago when that was done, so that's continues. Our unassigned fund balance then as a percentage of expenditures, 7.42 and 7.87%. So our activity funds are now subject to budgeting requirements, and the current number of activity funds, 160. The audited fund balance, we're right about $500,000. And what the activity funds are I think everyone's aware that's fundraising, our robotics raises money, the different groups raise money, and then that money rolls over year after year. Our non-voted debt capital funds, the IPA Energy Fund, which I talked about earlier, this year we intend to have 1.7 million. Next year we'll go to about 22-23 was 1.7 million. This year we're looking at close to $2 million. And then next year that's going to go down to 1.6. That's because in the current budget we have a transfer, and that was intentional in order to balance the budget. And the reason we did this, originally set up this fund, because we knew someday the time could come where the state did not give us the increase that we had anticipated or had hoped for, or needed in order to pay everything. So this fund was always meant to be used when that day comes. So this year, with the next year with the $241 increase, in order to meet our needs, we are intentionally planning to transfer a little bit from this fund. So it's a good thing. This is not money that we can kind of keep forever. We spent the capital 22-23 Valiant proceeds, $229,000 was the starting fund balance. We used most of that this year. We used that money on the upgraded PA system throughout the district. So we pretty much were down to $7,000 in that fund. So that's a good thing. We needed to spend that as well. So food service fund, as everyone knows, free meals for all, which is a really great thing. That does not include a la carte, so we still have a lot of kids, especially the high school, that go through our a la carte lines. Last year we ended at $790,000. This year we're projecting $881,000, and then next year projecting $836,000. And again, that's intentional, that fund balance goes down a bit. We get letters from the state that they do not want us increasing that fund balance. So we're going to spend a little bit of that money next year, of course, staff increases, and then better quality of food and this type of thing. So we're asked to do this, so we're trying to spend that down a little bit. Again, the operating transfer from the general fund has been zero. The general fund does not have to subsidize the food service fund, it goes the other way. Now, the child care fund balance, this is something that we are definitely working on, and we are aware of there is a bit of a financial conundrum here, but we're working on it. Last year we had an operating surplus of $268,000. The reason we had that is we received $519,348 from the federal government. It was part of the ESSER program. Huge influx, so we were able to have a nice surplus. Our fund balance at the end of last year was $475. Our projected fund balance for 23-24 it's going down to $229. So we're spending more than we're taking in. And our projected fund balance next year, we're looking at going all the way down to $35,000. So just to make the board aware, COI is working on this, I'm working on this. We've got to do some things programming wise. Otherwise, we're not allowed to transfer, we're not allowed to run a negative fund balance in food service or childcare. If we did, we would have to transfer money from the general fund to get that fund balance at zero. So that's obviously not a great option. So this is something that we're working on. Right now, the way the budget is this year, next year we have a zero. We are not anticipating any transfer from the general fund. Following year after that, if we don't do something, there could be. So I just wanted to make the board aware that there may be some changes on the horizon here. And that's all I have in terms of our budgets. Any questions?
Just the portion where you were talking about us transferring from our fund balance for the general fund because we were given an increase by the state, but that increase is not enough.
That's correct. Yeah, for the and we made a lot of reductions here, as we showed earlier. In different areas, as I showed earlier. But we've also intentionally, there are some investments that we made this year to better our, to help the students and just help the overall district. And that $241 just does not cut it. Well, and if we couple in the 50 student loss. Now, if we were flat on enrollment, we would not be making that transfer. So it's kind of a combination of both, and we hope to get to a flat enrollment one of these days, but we just continue to trickle students out, and our incoming kindergarten classes have not been as big as our graduating seniors. That's really where it's at. It's not the kids are leaving, it's just they're not being born here. So we have to make adjustments for that every year.
And if I could make a comment, we're not transferring from our fund balance.
Oh,
We're
no.
transferring from a different fund that we've been using.
Yes, we've been taking a little bit of our operating surplus the last few years because we had the ESSER money and some other funds, and then taking that and putting it into this a debt fund. It's a separate fund, it's audited, it's part of our financial statements as a separate fund for the intention, as I mentioned, that when we were in this situation someday, that we would just transfer back into the general fund. So the goal is every year we want to have a balanced budget. And if we hadn't done that and built up our fund balance, we would still be looking at like an operating deficit, and it just doesn't look good to do it that way. So we went this route so that we do have a balanced budget. So, okay.
Well, thank you. And
Okay.
thank you for your hard work on that.
Oh, thank you. And I'm going to step here because in your middle folders there, last week we had a meeting, and Rebecca, you asked me to give you some updates on the bond, some information on buses and technology. So I thought since we had the meeting tonight, it would be better to discuss it and put something in an email or whatever, and there's a lot of questions. So I wanted to have you look at this sheet here, and there's a back to it. And what this is, and I'm not going to go through it, spend too much time, but it basically it's our bus fleet inventory, or our bus fleet. It has the year of our buses, it has the estimated replacement year, and I went with 10 years. Some buses we can keep longer, but 10 years is kind of an industry standard that you go with. And then the original cost. So if we go down here with our oldest buses, you see that we have 15 buses that we purchased in 2014, and those are the buses that we were talking about last week. We have a couple buses we purchased in 15 and a couple in 2017. And then last year, if you go down that second column, you'll see 7 buses that we purchased last year, the 2023 buses. Those buses actually replaced lease buses that we had from First Student. So we saved almost $100,000 by not leasing from First Student, and we bought our own. And then, of course, we have 3 buses that are due to arrive here this summer, August or so. So on the back page is a summary, and this is what you were asking for, Rebecca. Our total bond budget, Series 1 plus Series 2, is $2.3 million for buses. We spent last year, those 7 buses, $835,625. The 3 buses coming this summer, $485,249. Bus prices have gone up dramatically. So that would leave us, if we're just looking at our bond budget, of $979,126. Well, right now, as it stands, we probably need to replace about 11 buses between 2025 and 2027. That's the Series 2 money. So if we were to replace 11 buses at $160,000, that we would have a shortfall of $780,874. Okay, if the board if we allocate that 1.1 million. So there's one more sheet here I got with RJ, our financial advisor. And this is an option. The board, we can go any which way. But if that shortfall of almost $800,000, if we were to finance that, the first sheet here shows what the annual payments would be, about $135,000 on average, and that would come from the general fund. So financing that shortfall of almost $800,000 means the general fund would be paying about $135,000 a year. That makes sense? Okay, that's we would get like a loan, so to speak. So that's an option there. Of course, if we finance the second page, if we finance $600,000, then the general fund payment would be about $102,000. So that is, we can work with any numbers there. That gives us an idea on how much money we need to really realistically replace the bus fleet. Any question? I'm going to talk real quick about technology. Any question on buses? And then, well, one more thing. On the sheet, I went all the way down, and you can see it's actually through bus route on the front side here, through 2034. So this is a long-term plan on how we would replace, or how many buses we would need to replace, and approximately, you can see the original cost, and if you take those buses at 160, 70,000 by then, who knows? You can see that's a big number. So that is long-term financial planning there with the fleet. And then the second thing that we talked about last week that I was asked to give better information to the board was on our technology plan. So Thomas, our Director of Technology, put this together for me. And it may be somewhat optimistic, or I don't know, but there's some, we talked about it, and he put everything in here from his perspective that the district would need. It's got all the detail, but if we go in the bottom right, or I'm sorry, bottom left corner, the summary is from 2025 to 2027. Again, that's the time frame for Series 2 expenditures, the summer of 25, 26, and 27. Per the sheet, he has about $813,369 in technology expenditures. We know that the Series 2 money is at $1.2 million, so that's under the Series 2 money. And then, again, this is a long-term plan like the bus plan. It goes out through 2034, and he's projecting just under $2.4 million in technology needs for the district from 2028 to 2034. About half of that is a refresh on the phone system. Just let you know that's where that number's coming from because it's such a big number. So hopefully this helps. I know the board's getting together again in July to review bond budgets and projects. So hopefully this helps you out. Any questions on technology?
No, I think we're gonna need a few to digest.
Okay, I know, it's a lot. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, next up are action items, but before we approve our human resource report, a couple of us that want to say something. So the board and Carly, we just felt like you were still and always will be a Blackhawk, and we thought it would be nice for you to have this at your cabin or your home where you're going to be.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Can I come up there?
You can come up.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And then there was just a few things we wanted to say. Okay, I'll say. All right. Well, I just want to say a couple things. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Maria,
You want me to stay up here?
for your commitment and dedication to the Brandon School District. Maria is one of the most kind, thoughtful people I've ever met. Prior to being elected to the school board, I would see Maria on occasion when I called the office or attended meetings, and Maria was always friendly, and her smile to greet you was always the best and made you feel like you were important and a valued community member. After becoming a board member, I quickly realized Maria is the true mother hen here in central office. She is accommodating to every board member and her preferences, whether it be small extra water bottles or certain packets printed off, or just big questions that we need to bounce off her with policies. And she will always answer our question, but then she will double check with legal or MESB, and she always had the right answer in the beginning, but she always checks. And I just wanted to say that when Maria called to tell me about her intention to retire, she talked about how Brandon is a family to her, and she would never want to be anywhere else. We cannot thank you enough for your dedication, thoroughness, and genuine commitment to our Brandon family, and you will be greatly missed.
Thank you.
We are so excited for you to spend time with your family and friends and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Thank you very much.
And I don't have anything prepared like Rebecca, but Maria is the reason that I had my graduation gown every year for graduation. And just all of those little things. When I first started and became a member of the board, she was, we were kind of in transition, and she was the constant. She was always consistent. She was always kind. She's the epitome of kindness right here. I mean, I could ask any question, and she could have easily said, really? Like, so many times, but she would just give the answer and then some. Always so helpful and sweet, and she will definitely be missed here, so.
Thank you.
And Maria's family is here as well,
Oh,
so
yeah,
I don't
I
know
just,
if you wanted to.
can I just say, I really don't know what to say because I'm speechless. But I do want everyone to know how much I have enjoyed working here, Brandon School District, working with the board, working with the community, working with our families, our students, our staff, our teachers. I could go on and keep you all night, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make this short and sweet. And I do want everyone to know that Brandon School District is the place to be. This is a special place, and once you get here, you won't want to leave, and I can tell you that. It's been 10 years, and I'm not leaving. I'm just turning off my office light, like I say, for now, and I will always hold Brandon School District in my heart. Thank you. You have supported me for years. I'll go home. I'm like, oh, that was the longest meeting. Not every meeting, but. So I have my husband Paul, who's over here, my daughter Hannah, who's over here, and her husband Jesse. They've been my steadfast through here, staying late, thanks to my husband. He's picked up all the some of the extra work. But. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for this Black Hawk. It's just beautiful. I've never seen anything like it. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Should bring the Black Hawk. That's awesome.
All right, back to action items. Approval of human resource report.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the human resource report as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes. Rebecca?
Yes. Adoption of the final 2023-2024 budget. Oh, did I skip one?
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve to adopt the 2024-2025 proposed budget as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes. Rebecca?
Yes. Approval of 2024 tax levy. What?
See at the top.
adoption of final.
Oh, adoption of final 2023-2024 budget. I apologize.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve to adopt the 2023-2024 final budget as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes. Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of 2024 tax levy.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the 2024 L4029 tax levy as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes. Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of Superintendent Carly Stone's evaluation.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve Superintendent Carly Stone's evaluation as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Rebecca,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Jeff, yes.
Approval of bid award for iTech conference room updates. Oh, what am I doing?
F.
Oh, I'm sorry. Approval of Superintendent Carly Stone's contract extension.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve Superintendent Carly Stone's contract extension as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes. Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of bid award for iTech conference room updates.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve to award the bid to Digital Age Technologies, DAT, for iTech conference room updates in the amount not to exceed $80,980 as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes. Rebecca,
Yes. Before we do citizens input, we have one more thing here. This meeting is actually Lisa's last meeting, and you're not gonna get away without us talking. So I just wanna take a minute to talk about Lisa for a minute and her commitment to the Brandon School Board. Not only has Lisa been a parent here for the last 15 years, 12 of which she has dedicated as a board member, Lisa has filled every role as a member, trustee, secretary, vice president, and president. She has witnessed and been part of many changes in our district. She has worked with 6 superintendents, counting interim, budget cuts, school buildings openings and closings, many new administrators and teachers, as well as support staff, and several combination of new and seasoned board member boards. I still have you on my phone as Lisa Cavalluna, Isaac's mom, but you have become so much more than Isaac's mom to me. Oh, shoot. You have been a mentor, a listening ear, and not always what I want to hear, but need to hear. But most importantly, you have become a dear friend, not just a moment in time friend, but an all-time friend, and I will miss you in this role. At the end of this journey, I hope you are able to reflect on your time here in Brandon and see how much our district has flourished and grown over the past 12 years. And I would be remiss if I didn't say you and the many boards you have been a part of has made Brandon a better place to learn. Thank you for all you have done. Maria. Okay. And she told me not to give her anything, but I don't always listen to her. So I just felt like it was very fitting. She is one of our longest standing board members, dedicating over 12 years of service. Thank you. So we do have. Late to the ball.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Okay, now citizen input. Looks like the only person is Diane Salter.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought up the Lisa thing. Hi,
Hi, Diane Salter, if you don't remember who I am. But first of all, Maria, I am echoing exactly what Rebecca said about you and what you did for the board. Those words would have been ones, I had it all written down, but now I can cut it down to some other simple words too. You're so professional, especially behind the scenes. People may not see it and know it, but we saw it. Caring. That was the other word that I thought. You were so caring and knowledgeable. But I don't know if how many of you board members have ever, or staff have ever been in central office when that phone rang. I had on a couple times, and hearing her talk on the phone, I only hear her side. I thought how nice and calm and sweet she sounds. I mean, I think she toned everybody down. And of course, I realized and remembered there was one important phone call in 2021. You were be able to talk to somebody for almost 8 minutes. And I said, you always had that knack of being a calming effect in there. And that was my opinion with our staff and our community. And thank you. Lisa, we started together. I couldn't do one word. And I echo exactly what Rebecca said too, so I can cut this short. Sensible intelligence. I really, because you know some people didn't always have that. And it was so appreciative. A calming confidence. You really, because some people got very worked up. And then I said supportive asset, but, and I guess I'm calling it behind the scenes. You and I had some very good, thorough, I say, opinions talked about with each other, and not always agree. And I'll tell you, if I ever had you tell me that I didn't do something right or something, that really bothered me. And I think more than once, well, maybe once, I did call and say.
I remember a couple times.
And I said, you were right. You were right.
As long as we know it.
Yeah. Darn, this is recorded. But I just wanted to say how appreciative I was that you were able to help me through many things when I was on the board. And I know how you've been with it now, because I know all the board members that are here right now. But I just wanted to thank you also for your service. And to each of the board members and staff and superintendent, thank you for all you do here. This is such a good meeting. It's nice to see people, you know, hopefully getting things done, and I like hearing the updates. But thank you.